How did you know that rehab was right for you?
Because I was strung out on heroin.
I think that rehab has become accepted as the best and most wonderful thing you can do for somebody. Go to rehab, especially expensive rehabs, because that should be the best because it's so expensive. And of course, it isn't so.
Are poor people just straight up fucked?
No, you might be better off. I think rich people are straight up fucked.
Are you gonna do this mentally when you're out in the real world?
Probably not.
You know how hard it is to find a psychiatrist that's just not gonna pass out psych meds like they're Pez candy? It's almost next to impossible to find that. It's like going to a barber shop and saying, you know, I want to find a guy at a barber shop who doesn't cut hair.
We are falling behind. If you look at any other field of medicine, they are far advanced than addiction medicine.
She said that Brandon was not in any danger, he was safe, you know, that the nurse is monitoring the levels, and she dies the next day.
In the beginning, there was alcohol, and then there were alcoholics. From then on, we've been trying to cure addiction with all kinds of crazy methods, from solitary confinement and electroshock therapy to sterilization and lobotomy. It wasn't until the 30s that we found something that kind of worked, and that was Alcoholics Anonymous, created by a former atheist and drunk named Bill W. In the 50s, a couple of doctors adopted AA's religious-inspired 12 steps and mixed it with inpatient therapy, and the first modern-day rehab program was born. Since then, inpatient treatment has turned into a $35 billion industry, charging tens of thousands of dollars per person. This treatment model has become seen as the gold standard thanks to its glamorization in popular culture by shows like Intervention and Celebrity Rehab. But is it really worth the money? Drug abuse is on the rise in the US, creating a dire need for effective treatment. We took a trip to what is known as Rehab Riviera in Malibu, California, the hotbed of the country's most elite non-hospital rehab centers, to find out what these places have to offer.
In order to justify the huge charges from $30,000 to $90,000 a month for rehab, they couldn't very well just say, we're going to give you the same thing you can get for free in a church basement. And they were in competition with each other. So they became like spas, as they are today. They just added things that they could say was part of their program without any evidence whatsoever that any of these things did anything.
This is Dr. Lance Mdotis. He's an expert and critic of the rehab industry who worked for years as the director of substance abuse treatment at Harvard University's McLean Hospital.
Remember the Muppets used to do that? The famous cases we hear about, the celebrities who go in and out of these expensive Malibu places, they go in 8, 9 times, and we all blame them. We say, what's the matter with these people? They can't stay with the program. No one says maybe the treatment is lousy, which it is, of course. It just won't work for them.
We're here at Cliffside Malibu, one of the nation's top rehab centers. Apparently Lindsay Lohan went here. We're gonna talk to the founder, Richard Tate, about how the rich recover from their addictions.
So this is our fruit orchard, really. 70 trees, all organic. This is where we do a lot of our intimate groups, right? So it's sweet, right? It's adorable. This was actually my room when I lived here, hence the raffia walls. I think this is just bitchin', right? I think it's just cool. Very nice, guys. Very nice. Thank you. This is a single room, okay? The cost is $73,000 a month. And this is what it is.
When you got over your addiction and went into recovery, were you in a facility similar to this?
No, I wasn't. But understand that that's why it took me 3 years to get sober.
Okay.
Right? What we're doing here is we're trying to save somebody 3 years.
So if someone comes to Cliffside, you can say you're going to recover faster. Is that something you guys could guarantee? Or?
Way faster. In fact, we do have a guarantee.
What's the guarantee?
That's great. Yeah. I get a lot of flack for it, too, because people go, you can't guarantee sobriety. They're right. I can't.
At Cliffside Malibu, our treatment program is so successful, we guarantee it.
How does it differ from the 12-step?
12-step is in treatment.
Okay.
12-step is a support group. 12-step basically asks, what was my part in this? Right? And therapy is uncovering what the... Guys?
So would you say that what a lot of people are paying for when they put their money down to stay at this place is the holistic aspect? It's not necessarily the medical aspect, but more of like the pools and the, you know, the bocce ball and
No, it's everything.
Okay.
It's what you get, listen, $73,000 sounds like a lot of money, but if you go to the Four Seasons for 30 days, okay, that's gonna be 40 grand.
Right.
Okay, what did you get? Was there any life-changing thing going on there? Everything that we've done here is mindful. It only seems like horseshit to people that don't know better. But you don't have to know better, bro, because your life didn't depend on it. You didn't go through it. But if your life did depend on it, you'd say to yourself, okay, this is the only place I would go because this guy actually gives a fuck.
Where are your patients at today?
I don't know. Where are they? Where'd they go? No, you're not. Rob's not here. I have no idea.
Okay.
I have no idea. They probably went to whatever they did. There's a therapeutic meaning behind it.
So he definitely feels really comfortable with you. So you guys have comfort, you know, going for you and connection.
We wanted to see one of these therapeutic sessions in action, so we visited Stand and Balance. They treat individuals from inpatient centers like Cliffside, Malibu with what is known as equine therapy. One private hour-long session costs $265.
He's trying to get your hat off, huh?
No, you can't have that.
This is Megan. She's a recovering addict who's fighting hard to stay sober.
So it kind of reminds me of my mom a lot.
How so?
I feel that my mom's one of a kind.
Okay. Is it all right if we call that mom now?
Yeah, I don't care.
Okay.
She's only 23 years old, and this is her third time in a rehab program. Why do you think the treatment that you're getting is going to be the key to your recovery? Like, what about it gives you the hope that you can break your addiction?
Well, because this place is not, 12-step based, and I feel that I can find the power within myself. And I know it is my third time, and people might think, well, if it's your third time there, then why aren't you clean?
Okay. Do you feel the difference?
Yeah. But the way I look at it is, it's my third time because of choices that I've made. And that was my mistake. And so I think by staying out here, and having the support is what I need to do. I'm just gonna stick with it this time and not go running back home.
It's beautiful. I'm just a little bit upset for all the people out there that might have problems. I'm upset for the upper middle class and middle class people who maybe bankrupt themselves trying to save a loved one and spend a ton of money on these fancy places out here only to have them relapse again because there are no other fucking options. I'm sad for the poor people who can't get access to this and have to just do 12-step or die. I appreciate what these people are doing because they're trying to help, but it seems like if you acquire an addiction in America today, most likely you are fucked. Because if you are addicted to something like meth, your likelihood of surviving playing with fucking horses and bocce ball, this shit's crazy. We're about to keep looking into this, but I don't know. I don't know what to think. I'm upset. I get my eyes examined like all the time though.
That's good. That's good.
I'm wearing contacts right now.
Now follow my finger only with your eyes. Only with your eyes. Only with your eyes. We are for-profit organization. Okay, this is not a non-profit organization.
Right.
So I have to be honest with you.
So
when you are in a business for profit, sales is involved.
So you sometimes sell people on the treatment.
Of course, you have to sell your treatment because there's so much competition, right? Look at the hospitals. Majority of the hospitals are what? For profit.
Right.
Only the county hospitals are non-profit, right?
Right.
So
And healthcare is fucked up.
it's
You know what I mean? Like,
well, I don't know if it's fucked up, but we are getting care, right? If you have insurance, if you have money, you're getting care.
Right.
All right.
If you have insurance, you have money.
If you have money, you have insurance, yes, you get care.
Are poor people just straight up fucked? Like if you're poor and impoverished,
No, you might be better off. I think rich people are straight up fucked.
Really? Well,
because rich people are by easier, kinder ways. They choose the bullshit programs usually, and the rich people have, in my opinion, they're looking for special care. This is not about being special. It's about shutting up, sitting down, stop the bullshit, be a person, nothing special, let's go. And you get special treatment, you end up not with good outcomes. Michael Jackson got special treatment.
Do you think as long as we have privatized treatment that's like for profit and making money, that there will always be sort of these carnivorous people out there taking advantage of people in their most desperate?
There's always been people like that, so I imagine there always will. It's one of the reasons I'm out of the field right now. I'm so devastated by what's happening. It's too painful. It's too painful. And then my patients, work hard with them, and they get sucked into these things that are offering whatever, that are gratifying. Remember, I started by saying things shouldn't be gratifying.
Right.
Same thing's true for the family. It's hard work. It's so hard, so painful. That's the only thing worse than being the addict is being the family member. Because really what you have to do is sit by while that person's on the high wire and they're about to fall off, and you have to just sit by and pray to God that doesn't end up in a disaster.
If she wants to keep them around. I brought some pictures of Brandon.
Oh, absolutely. But we can get you a
This is Ted Jakes. His son Brandon was an alcoholic and bulimic who died of complications related to his eating disorder while in treatment. Brandon was first admitted to a rehab center in Arizona called Sober Way Home that guaranteed they could treat his dual diagnosis. After taking the family's money, however, Sober Way Home advised that Brandon should be moved to an even pricier treatment facility in California called Morningside Recovery.
Looking back on it now, it's like, was this planned, to get to 30 days here,
Right.
and then move somewhere else, and then move somewhere else. But we felt real comfortable with Sober Way Home when we went out there, and we trusted them. We've seen the results. We've seen Brandon was doing good there, and we put a lot of faith in their recommendation.
And now you found that there was a financial agreement between Sober Way and Morningside?
Well, there's something there. You can call it what you want. I think most would call it a kickback.
To verify Ted's accusations of a secret kickback, we reached out to Morningside several times. We even made a trip out to their head office to see if they'd be willing to set up a meeting. Yeah, we just want to have an interview. But they reneged on the interview and haven't responded to our requests since. So we went behind their backs and found someone who would talk. A former employee of Morningside agreed to speak to me under the condition of anonymity, due to the litigation involved with their former employer's practices. They told me, quote, they were making referrals back and forth between a Sober Way and Morningside. You refer a client to Morningside and they pay a 10% fee of what they get paid. This person went on to describe the loose admissions process at Morningside, saying, if you look at what they did to Brandon Jakes, they referred him out at a time when Morningside would just take anybody, even if they were unqualified to treat his condition. Through a deposition, we discovered that First House was also engaged in kickbacks. Here, the owner relates patients like Brandon to dirty laundry.
We finally got in to see David Gates. I said, I want to see where Brandon was staying. He said, that's impossible because of confidentiality reasons. I said, look, I want to see where he stayed. I said, this poor kid, died 2,000 miles away from home. I said, I want to be a part of that. I never got to talk to him. I want to see that stuff. And then it finally came out that, he wasn't there. He was at First House. And I go, what's a place called First House?
What is First House?
And he goes, First House Detox. I said, why is he at First House? And he said that he had patients needing more critical care. We know now that They weren't providing psychological care. We know that they weren't monitoring his intake or his purging. I'm not totally convinced that they were monitoring his potassium, on the day that he passed away.
First House, where Brandon's condition became critical, closed after having at least 2 other deaths on their watch. First House owners have opened up a new facility called Orange County Recovery Services with virtually the same staff. Morningside lost his license for detox due to numerous regulatory violations, but still runs quasi-legal addiction treatment programs in Southern California. The Jakes reached a settlement with Morningside Recovery for $3.7 million. They are currently pursuing a wrongful death suit against a Soberway Home and First House Detox. In 2013, drug overdoses killed more than 30,000 people in the U.S. They're responsible for more dead Americans than firearms. Simply put, we're in the midst of an epidemic. And after taking a good hard look at what many Americans see as the best treatment money can buy, it's clear that our best just isn't cutting it. There are many people who work in the high-end rehab world with the best intentions. But as Dr. Muhammad told me inside his swanky addiction center, they don't offer treatment, they sell it. It's not good intentions that fuel this $35 billion industry. It's dollar signs.